everyone, Satam here from Alchemist Academy. So today I'm going to be talking about describe image. Describe image being one of the most important item types in the real test. So today I will be showing you some of the latest exam questions that have just recently come in the test. So I hope that by watching these you have a fair idea on how to attempt those images, okay? So let's have a look over here. So as you can see, we will be discussing this and let's move forward. Now, if you look into this, there is three things that I want to mention first. The first thing that I want to mention is it's a general fact that the scores of describe image just go into speaking. We all know that, but there's two more things that I'd like to add over here. Number one is your speech has to be consistent. Most people think that describe image is all about oral fluency, and the faster I speak, the better it is. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be speaking consistently in all the questions. Not just that. Read alouds, repeat sentences, describe image, read a lecture and answer short questions. All the 5 topics should be done very consistently. It has to be done very consistently. Third thing is, it isn't mandatory to describe each and every content of the image. Practically speaking, in 40 seconds, it isn't possible to describe each and every content of the image. And even if you try to do so, you will start to hesitate and your hesitations will be very evident. Let's have a look at some of the different styles of images that we have in the real test. So if you move forward, you can have a look over here. We've got a lot of different types of images. I usually classify them. When I'm doing the class, I usually classify them. How do I classify them? The first thing is you have a graph. We can expect charts. There can be random images, there can be maps, there can also be processes, okay? And each image has its own answering style. It should be within this. Sometimes there can be diagrams as well, but for me, I usually consider diagrams also a part of process only. So I don't really want to confuse people in. So I usually try to stick into that. Let's look at one of the latest exam questions that we have in your describe image. Now, as you can see, this very first image in front of you is about a process. So remember that when you're talking about a process always has a beginning point and it always has an ending point, okay? So in this kind of image, let's say over here you can see that this is a food chain process, right? So in the food chain process, you can say that the first thing that I can see is a tree. From trees, it's converted into the fish. We get some food for the fish. From fish, the fish grows a little bit more bigger. From the fish, we go in, the bear is eating the fish and the bear dies and it goes back to it decomposes and it goes back to the tree form, right? So in this case, you could have said these are the different parts of the image. You can just stress on saying that the first part of this image is the tree and the last part of this image is the bear being converted back into a tree. That's it, that's the process. And you can also talk about the color in the image. You can talk about that I can see the color green or I can see the color brown and there's a bear in this image. You don't have to go with each and every aspect of this image, all right? So this is a process. Remember, there's always a beginning, there's always a end. Let's look at one of the next images. So the next image that I have up on the screen is about actually a random image. Now, what is a random image? Random image can be anything. It can be it could be even a dog running in the park. It could be, as you can see, the one over here. So over here in front of me, I have a person wearing safety equipments. Okay, whenever you talk about an image, always try to describe the name for this image, like a title for this image. Then the different things that you can see over there is like they've got hats, they've got protective glasses, they've got face masks, gloves, boots, and things like that. Now, in this case, what you can ideally see over here is that this guy, this person, this character is wearing a hat on the head, like a hard hat on the head or a protective hat on the head. On the other hand, he's also wearing some protective boots on the bottom, and he's also wearing some gloves and some protective glasses. In the end, also you can add in color. Color is always an aspect of this image that goes down. You can say yellow, blue, or orange, whatever comes to your mind. One very important aspect, please do not add irrelevant things into the image. Just try to say whatever you can from the image, and that kind of boosts your describe image scores as well, okay? Now moving forward, again I've got a different kind of random image. This is one of the these kinds of images are really tricky because, as you can see, if you were to talk about it in 25 seconds, you'll be like, oh, hang on, so you'll be like, you know. So one of the easiest things that you can do is, what do you see in this image? Start talking like that. Well, I can see some watermelons, I can see onions, tomatoes, onions, and you can just see it. What else can you see in this image? You can see that there's a woman who's purchasing some vegetables. She's having a look at some vegetables. What else do you see? The market is crowded. Just say those things. You don't have to go in extreme details. If I was to go into extreme details, I can look at an onion, I can look at a brinjal, I can look at a so your hesitations will start to come out. So don't chase the details, keep the details minimal, try to be as fluent as you can, but speak from within the image. Moving forward, let's have a look. We have got a different style of image. We've got again back to a process. This, for me, I consider this one to be an easy image because it's got a lot of information in that, too many tiles with a lot of information in this. Now, in this case over here, I can usually start by saying like, you make your hands wet. That is the first step in the process. And the last step in the process is you rinse your hands by running the water. And then you can talk about the different things in between. You can also talk about the color. Like I can see the color green is one of the most important aspects of this image. Now, these were some of the latest exam questions. We do have a lot more questions like this. If you guys are chasing or you would want those questions, please don't hesitate to contact us on our main page, which is on Facebook, which is at Alchemist Academy. Send us a message and we'll surely send those images to you as well. Now, some of my final tips in the end that I'd like to add over here. With speaking, it really depends on how much do you practice. Whether do you really put that effort in? Do you put the timer in front of you or not? And if you don't do things like that, I guarantee you, no matter what structure you have, no matter what strategy you have in your mind, it's not going to work out in the exam. Because if you're not familiar with the exam environment, you haven't practiced enough, you're going to feel that describe image is one of the nightmares that you have. I've seen people go into the test like, yeah, I can do it, and then, oh my god, it was the hardest section, I didn't practice, I didn't expect that. If you would like to use the Alchemist AI, please contact us on the following page. You can have a look in the contact info over here, and you can contact us on this following page over here. Please give us a call on the given number and we could definitely help you ace your scores. And furthermore, a lot of students have benefited themselves from the Alchemist AI. The accuracy in our software is extremely high. The scores that students have been getting in the Alchemist AI is what they've got in the exam. You can read the reviews, testimonials, and all the students have had a positive feedback. So if you really want to improve your describe images, practice, 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 and practice with Alchemist AI. Thank you.